What's up, people? It's Scorch here, coming at you with another Rogue Company video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the tier list, or at least my opinion on the hero tier list right now. I want to preface my opinion. If you have a different one, make sure to put it down in the comment and put your rationale behind it too. Now, I'm going to take a look at my notes here and kind of read through it. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I struggled with Lancer. I put her as D ultimately. Lancer isn't bad on paper. Like, the quick and quiet thing sounds really good. This being able to move even without having a padded step, to be able to move quieter and to be elusive, right? To not be able to be revealed. But in theory, any good players are already looking for the flank, and Lancer, more often than not, just ends up getting smacked and leaving your team at a disadvantage when she does try to flank. The perk Life Drain isn't bad on her. She has a decent grenade, the stick one, the Simtax, I believe it is. So all in all, I mean, she isn't the worst thing. Like, I wouldn't put her in F tier or something like that, but she definitely needs work as far as the heroes go right now. She's just not as dangerous. And as far as flanks go, like, why not just pick Dallas or even Talon for that matter? Just better flanks in general. Now, in the C tier, I went ahead and picked Chak. This guy right here, when I first started playing the game, he seemed really powerful, but after you kind of understand the way he works, he's not that great, and a lot of people play him far too aggressively because he can get that overshield and he can res himself. So a lot of people end up pushing way aggressive, you know, with the flashbang, and then they end up getting smacked, you know. Grit isn't bad either, but it just kind of prolongs the inevitable, right? You can get extra health while you're on the ground, you can be rolling around, but people are still going to finish you. I mean, you're just wasting time, really. I haven't seen Chak actually get back up very often, especially when playing against good players. So something to think about. He may need a little bit of love. He has some decent perks though. Replenish and Life Drain are good. So if you're playing him a little more passively, not just being reckless, you know, you can get some good clips with Chak. Don't get me wrong. And the flashbang, of course, is great. So that's why I put him in C tier. Now we have the B tier, and I struggled with this one because, as you can see, one of my favorite characters, Saints, is in the B tier right now. So let's go ahead and start off with Phantom. Now, Phantom can be S tier, Phantom can be F tier, because I feel like one of the most important things about playing Phantom is your ability to use the sniper and to hit those headshots. If you are not a shooter, if you are not getting those headshots, maybe pass on playing Phantom. 80 to the body is great, but the whole point of playing a sniper is to make it a 4v3 immediately or soon, right? You wait for that pick, and then the team gets the advantage. Getting that 80 body shot just doesn't do the same thing. Maybe if your team is super coordinated, you can still capitalize on it, but you could probably do that even without the sniper if that was the case. So if you're gonna play her and you're gonna play her at a high level, you have to be able to hit the headshot. Everything else about her is kind of meh. She has Life Drain, which is good. She has a decent nade, but all in all, if you're not hitting a headshot, I would say pass on her and or give her to somebody who can shoot. And that's why I put her B tier, really. Saints, my boy. I love Saints, but all in all, he's a very average hero. Like, being able to heal from across the map is very good. Being able to give your teammates additional health and heal yourself when you get them up is also great. But his guns are meh. The Mamba, I think, is better than that Mark IV he has. Both of them can be useful though, but I think the Mamba is okay. But all in all, Saints is kind of average right now. Like, you can have pop-off games with him, but all in all, I would say that he's a B tier hero right now. And then we have Vi here. Vi, I struggle with her because I feel like on defense, she's an A, or even like between that S and A tier. But on offense, she's probably like a C tier. You know, she's not very good at being an attacker. She's very good at locking down some stuff though, like Val Poison. You know, it can really block off an area, make people second guess pushing in. She has an incendiary grenade that also is good for like zoning people out. She has Replenish, which is good for getting those gunfights right. If you knock somebody, you go ahead and get those bullets back, keep it going. So I mean, she's not a bad champion, and depending on the situation, she can easily go up to A tier. But also depending on the situation, she could go down to C tier. So just make sure that you're choosing her at the right times because she can be super effective. So now let's go over to the A tier. And we're going to start off with my girl Ronin. I struggled with putting her S and A tier, and I settled on A tier, and this is why. I would put her S tier if she had better perks. You know, like 6 Sense. Like that's her. I just think her perks are really lame. If she had Life Drain, Replenish, you know, she would be definitely a S tier because she would have some type of sustain, right? But right now she doesn't. Once she kind of gets overwhelmed or bombarded, she's probably going to go down. But with that being said, her ballistic knife is very good for zoning, good for you know, locking off a lane, especially if people are playing really aggressively and aren't focused. Like, you can shoot her knife obviously and get rid of it, but sometimes people aren't paying attention to that. So you can, if nothing else, make people make those decisions, reveal themselves, right? So I really like that aspect of her. And she has a nade as well. So she's very good at explosions, but she's not better than Daima, I would say. Daima obviously is the grenade king in this game. So that's why I put Ronin A tier. I still think that she's a very good rogue. In a certain situation, she probably can be S. Now, Scorch here, I struggled with Scorch, and I guess I have her a little bit further, but I'm just gonna jump to her. I struggled with Scorch. Scorch could be S tier, but she's dependent on that cooldown, right? Overheat is great. In a 1v1, I think Scorch is going to take anybody out while she has overheat, right? She's going to tear them down. At SMG shreds people, and that damage over time shreds people. So I really like that aspect of her. But if you take that away, then she's, you know, then she's more on par with the rest of the rogues in the game. So that's why I put her A tier overall. She also has a good nade for zoning, and her perks are fair, right? She has Headstrong, she has a Replenish, so not bad. All in all, I think she's an A tier, and if you haven't unlocked her yet, she's definitely a good rogue to be playing. Next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Talon. I struggled with Talon and Dallas, putting one of them S tier, one of them A tier. I ultimately decided to put Talon A tier. Now, Talon is dope. Like, Talon can easily be S tier. First of all, his SMG is a shredder. It is ridiculous. The radar dot, I think, is the best tracking in the game, arguably. And I struggle with this, because Dallas has a good one as well. But the tracking dart is so good if you have that map awareness and you have that comms with your team, because you can really get that dart in some really good places so that you can see where the team is going. Also, he has the C4, so he's really good at locking down certain areas, making sure that people aren't able to flank easily. Padded step and life drain makes him a very good flanker, especially with the dart, so he can kind of see where people are. Very good. Overall, I don't see why you would pick like Lancer over Talon, really, or Dallas for that matter, which is why he's so far up here on that list. Next up, we have Trench. I struggled with putting Trench in the S tier and A tier. I decided on A tier. Trench is a solid hero all around. So basically, his guns are hard hitting, right? His guns really put down some suppressing fire. He will lock you down if you let him. The tear gas paired with his barbed wire is dope. You slow them, you know, confuse them. It's very good. The only thing I would like to see for him, though, I feel like his barbed wire should do some type of damage, you know, even if it's just little, because too often people aren't really afraid of it, right? I feel like his barbed wire needs a little something else to it. If not damage, some type of to it. The active protective system is also really good, which also aids to him being able to lock down areas, right? People can't throw those nades in there, or at least that first one is going to get tossed, and he can hold additional gadgets. So you can be holding 2 of those and get rid of 2 nades. So very good at locking stuff down, and his perks are great at staying alive, right? I think all in all, this guy, he's a solid choice. Bounce back, headstrong. He's just a hard champion to take out. So definitely A tier. Obviously, if you're good with him, I would say you can even say that he's S tier. Now let's go to the S tier. Now, I know some people are probably wondering why Anvil is up here, and I think some people are sleeping on the big man. First of all, the LMG goes crazy. That thing is ridiculous. His shotgun is also good, but that LMG is so nasty, especially if you have it like at range. Like when you're too far off, it's not going to be as great, obviously, but at a fair close to mid range, it's shredding people. He has the C4, which is good for zoning. He has his ultimate, which is situational, but can also be used for zoning, right? If you place it at the right spot. It also, I've seen a lot of times that it can kind of cuck a team in a way too, right? If you put it in the wrong spot. But assuming that you have a competent anvil, his ultimate is pretty good. Now, another thing too, his immunity, right? He can nullify so many grenades. So like the flashbangs doesn't affect him, the EMP doesn't affect him. So he's just like that hardy tank type character. And he also has that active protective system, which can stop grenades from affecting his teammates as well, depending on where you place them. So all in all, solid character right there. He has life drain, headstrong, and that just on top of helping hands as well. So he's hard to kill, has that extra health, and he can get teammates up faster. All in all, a solid choice, especially if you're defending. And I've even seen him do pretty well on attack too, because he can be very aggressive. So that's my rationale for Anvil. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Next up here, we're going to talk about Daima, solid rogue. I like to call him the noob tube guy. Very powerful, right? Those cluster of grenades, depending on the team you're playing against and how they're like moving as a unit, you can wipe out a whole squad right there, just about. You know what I'm saying? Because who's running tenacity? So I mean, really, he can be nasty depending on the situation. Another thing, I'm a huge fan of the fact that he has the Mamba. Now I know a lot of people may not be fans of the Mamba, but the Mamba fully upgraded deals mad damage, and it also is pretty good at range too. So a solid gun. It's the one that Saints has as well, and I love that gun. I think it's one of my favorite weapons in the game. Another thing here is he also has a grenade. So while the grenade by itself isn't a big deal, but on top of him having the noob tube and being able to track people or show the location of people who are on fire and stuff like that, he has a good kit all in all, and he has a lot of AoE damage. For his perks, he has the life drain, replenish, bounce back. This is a character that's basically meant to be in there slaying out, right? He's not one of those passive characters. You can play him on attack or defense, I think, effectively, but he's definitely going to be a more aggressive type. You got to get this guy out of the match, or he's gonna 1v4 you. You know, like he's a devastating character. I feel like I'm ranting on him a little bit, but I have a lot of respect for Daima, even though I don't play him a whole lot. Next up, we have Glitch and Dallas, and I'll talk about Dallas first. Actually, I like Dallas, and like I say, I struggle with putting him, like swapping Talon and Dallas, but I decided to put Dallas in the S tier. Basically, Dallas I think is the best flank in the game. Talon been right on his tail, but Dallas right now is probably the best flank. Target finder is going to allow him to get the jump on people, you know, and if he downs them, he gets it right back, so he can keep on going to like the stalker mode. You know, I think of him like some type of panther or leopard, just going through their back line, spotting people and jumping on them before they even know he's there. You know, that padded step makes him a great flank on top of his ability. Also, his shotty is brutal at close range. Like that shotty, the first time I fought against a Dallas with the shotgun, surprised the heck out of me. It hits like a truck. So that's another thing. His other gun is fine as well, close range, and even the revolver hits pretty hard at close range. So all in all, his guns are solid. He also has a good nade for zoning. I think his is the incendiary grenade, so which is great. And the perks are fair. He has replenish, he has headstrong, bounce back. So he has a great kit for actually getting in there and engaging with the enemy. So all in all, Dallas is definitely S tier for me. And then the last hero on this list, or the last rogue, is going to be Glitch. And ultimately, the reason that he's on here is because of his utility. He can basically counter most rogues, like their abilities in the game right now. You know, he can disrupt, you know, whatever they're trying to do. A character like that, I feel like you have to have on your team in competitive, right? Like you can't get away without having a Glitch on the team. You're just putting yourself at a disadvantage. He also has that same shredding SMG as Talon. Crazy damage from that thing. I love it. He has a decent nade. His perks are fair. And that's really all I have to say about him. I guess the rest of his kit isn't all that crazy, you know. but his utility makes him a must-have on the team, and his ability to pump out a decent amount of damage too. So people, that's gonna be my tier list for right now. Please let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with, politely of course, and put that down in the comment section. If you made it to the end, make sure to go ahead and drop that down. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe today to become a member of the Ors Force. I appreciate you all watching. This is Ors of course. We'll see you in the next video. Peace, 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 peace.